So, you wrote a great proposal. Clear, aligned, on time, but it still didn't get funded, right? In this episode of InnovEU, the EU Project Chronicles, we dive into what really makes or breaks a proposal, even when you've done everything right. And we do that mostly in the interview with Elena Chapa. This Mexican girl works for Dom Spain, in Spain, and we talk about the mismatch between what you submit and what evaluators see. And that's quite an interesting conversation. We also talk about, well, she talks about why AI helps, but storytelling still wins the day, and why youth focus and inclusion projects matter more than ever, and how to turn rejection into the next opportunity. So this is the interview. We also have the introduction of a new tool, the AWTY, the Housing Crisis Transition Index. So I'll show to you in the episode how this framework can be quite strategic. The index reveals which countries are building housing resilience, which are not, and why this should matter for your next urban project, youth project, or innovation proposal. And we also have analysis of an open call, the town twinning serve call. It's a practical, realistic project to start with, if you want to. We cover eligibility, partnerships, budget, deadlines, and well, the strategic angles that are most important. So I hope you like the podcast. Please press all the buttons you can see. Like, subscribe, share. Anything will help the podcast, actually. So I hope you can share it with your friends and restock it in Substack if you are on Substack or whatever platform you're on. I hope you enjoy it. Bye. So this week I have one question for you. Are you ready to innovate? If you don't really understand the housing crisis we're in. So in this latest AWTY report, I break down what I call the Housing Crisis Transition Index. It's not just about prices, but prices are important, of course. But it's about affordability, yes, but also homelessness, housing supply, regulation, and the structural traps we are not getting away from. This index compares countries across 5 dimensions, from Germany and Singapore, who seem to be at the top, to others where the housing crisis, has already become a permanent condition. But here's a twist: every single research project, EU funded or other, in the areas of urban transformation, sustainability, social innovation, every single one of those projects will be impacted by these dynamics. And well, are we embedding innovation in systems that are already breaking? Isn't that bad? A bad idea? Or are we designing transitions that actually work? I would say that this transition is as important as the digital transition or the green transition. And it's not going very well, I believe. The numbers don't say that. So if you work in research and innovation, this report gives you hard data, country comparisons, and early warning signals to reshape your assumptions. So it's not about my beliefs, it's about what hard data tells us. Um, it's more than a tool, it's actually, it tries to be a strategic map for those who want their projects to matter and to last. So the full report drops this Friday in the PolisDocs newsletter, PolisDocs the transitions letter. You'll get insights, rankings, recommendations that you won't find anywhere else. You can find the newsletter in the video notes, in the links of the episode. So I could use a great slogan here, something like "Don't build on broken ground," something like that. But I'll just tell you, go read the AWTY Housing Index and see for yourself, judge for yourself. Share with a friend, hit like, subscribe. Actually, any button will help. It will be good for the podcast. So I hope you enjoyed. See you soon. So, welcome back to InnovEU, the EU Project Chronicles. This week we have with us Elena Chapa. I can't wait to hear her talk about her activities in this area. But before that, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your institution, Don Spain? This could be in Portuguese, it could have a strange significance. So please explain the right significance.
Sure, thank you for the invitation. So, well, I am Elena Chapa from Mexico, but actually I am based in Reus, in a small town 2 hours away from Barcelona. I work in Dom, Spain, and actually Dom or Doma means house in Ukrainian. So we are Casa Spain or Dom Spain, in other words. That's the name of the organization. We are an adult vocational center. We provide language translation services. We provide courses and workshops, and well, we have bed, particularly bed courses in cuisine and pastry, among other things. And we also do territory promotion. And we are again based in Reus, in a place called Espaibole, which are the headquarters for many other organizations.
Mhm.
And we mostly that promote education, and
For how
those are
long?
the things that we do. We have been well, the oldest organization that is here in Espaibole is Open Europe, and it's about 10 to 15 years old.
Okay.
Spy Bowl, it's actually a very recent construction. We have been here since 2022, so 2 years
Mhm.
in Spy Bowl.
Okay. So from Mexico to Spain to Catalonia, right? That's in Catalonia.
Yes, Catalonia, the northeast of Spain.
Why a Ukrainian name? I'm curious.
Well, because the director of the organization is from Ukraine.
Okay. There had to be some reason.
Yeah, yeah.
So you said you work with but before that you work with vet
Yes,
teaching.
we are. Dom Spain is a vet center. It's an
Mhm.
adult vocational training center. So I'm a project manager here, and I mostly manage projects related to, well, a little bit of entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship support, capacity building, and
Mhm.
mostly inclusion projects. Those are most of the projects that I've managed, especially inclusion in museums, inclusion in education, language teaching, or inclusive language teaching, etc.
Mhm. Okay, so you're used to writing proposals, running projects, writing reports. What has your experience been in this area?
Well, I like both writing projects and I like managing projects. There are good things and bad things of both. From writing proposals, I actually like the conception. It's very creative in the sense of like you start with a problem and you try to solve the problem. So it's also very entrepreneurship like. So you have to solve a real life problem, and you
Exactly.
try to come up with solutions. So that's the part that I like. And then managing projects, it's all very, at least to me, which I'm a person that likes, I don't know, structure. I like that, like the project life cycle, face to face approach of things and timelines, etc. So that's how I work best.
Okay. So um, In your proposal writing, are you expecting evaluators to read every single word you write, or do you try to convey the message in a picture or a chart? What's your approach?
Well, for sure, I don't think they read the entire proposal. I think we focus on the key things that we have to achieve, and we focus on that, and we try to be very straightforward when we convey the message of the project, etc. So we are very careful with impact, very careful with the base or the legal framework which the project is embedded into, etc. But no, I mean, I think they also, I mean, evaluators use AI tools in order to filter information and keywords and things like that. I mean,
I hope they
definitely.
do. I hope they do
Um,
nowadays. But
yeah.
listen, I've heard two different approaches to different opinions about this. One says that in fact, the forms to apply for these programs are too restrictive. The number of characters you can use in each field is too small. The other opinion says exactly the opposite. It's too much. You shouldn't write so much. You should be much more concise. What's your view about this? What do you think about the forms we have to use?
Well, I mean, it's uncomfortable once you are creatively writing something and then you have to go back and edit. That's yeah, that's always something that we don't like. But actually, I truly find that the more concise you are and the more precise are in your writing, the better.
Mhm.
Because if not, it's just all not important information that just takes away from the actual purpose of your project or the actual message and the
Mhm.
actual project itself per se. I mean, let's not try to write an entire Bible. Just try to
Yeah.
write exactly what you want to do.
Well, I don't know if you've seen that, but in a proposal, I'm just remembering now a proposal that was funded. I co-wrote it, and when I first looked at the draft, I was appalled because there was so many. How do you say that? The short for the words you need to write
Abbreviation. That happened to
an
me as well.
abbreviation.
They
There
didn't
are
like
so
the
many
abbreviation.
abbreviations, I had trouble understanding it. And I was thinking, how will the evaluator understand this if I don't? But it was approved. So it worked actually.
Yep.
So that's don't you think that what leads to the creation of these EU project jargon that leads us to use specific words with a meaning that someone outside of the industry might not take it that way, like deliverables and work packages, and that's just the simple part. Then there are many other jargons. Do you think that that's positive? Do you think that could be changed?
It's very niche, actually, yes. But I think we're not the only ones that use, I mean, that use jargon that, I mean, people outside of the field don't understand. I mean, I think I got used to it very easily. It's very, I mean, I don't think that it's difficult to understand. You just have to get used to it, and that's it. I mean, I don't know. For a newcomer, I wouldn't know how to
Yeah.
approach.
Well, what would you, now that you know the process and you know how this works, what would you change if you could only change one thing, only one? What would it be? Something that would make it work
About
better.
projects in general, you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I mean, I would not know. I mean, probably like more information. I mean, more information or more help, and maybe that's our own fault in the sense of more channels to provide help when
Hmm.
you have doubts, and maybe that's a national thing, meaning or our own fault, as I was mentioning. Like maybe we don't uh, approach the right channels in order to find information with regards to, hey, we didn't get funded this proposal, can you help us discern why it didn't got, I mean, because we thought it was like a great proposal,
Hmm.
and maybe the evaluation doesn't match our expectations or our the things that we thought, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah, how can you improve if you don't get the feedback about
Well,
that?
you have the evaluation, but sometimes the evaluation is not very thorough. Some in some cases, it doesn't mean that it's always the case,
Yeah.
but in some cases, it's very like it didn't meet the quotas, or it didn't meet the number or whatever. And this is the explanation. It's a very narrow explanation. You're like, okay, so I would like more information in order for us to improve. But
Hmm.
that's just me. I mean, I don't know
And
my colleague. I don't know what my colleagues think about this, but it's always like you sometimes you think that it's a very solid proposal, and then you see the evaluation. It's like it was not. Apparently, it was not, and I don't have enough information to
yeah.
discern why it wasn't.
Didn't it ever occur to you the opposite? You didn't expect much from the proposal, and in the end, it was funded. Didn't that happen
Yes,
to you?
for sure, for sure. That's the other that's the other side of the coin, isn't it? That once you read like a proposal and you're like, this is not going to get funded. Definitely, it's not going to get funded, and then surprise, it got funded. But let me tell you with those particular projects, you usually have lots of. I mean, you encounter lots of problems once you are in the implementation phase, because as it's not well written, there's
Hmm.
always like, how many people did we have to bring to this mobility? Here it says 20. Oh no, but here it says 12, so which one is the case? So
Hmm.
those are
I
the
see.
problems. Yeah, but I mean, we are all human anyways, and we all make mistakes, both the ones writing the proposals and the ones evaluating them. That's the mismatch in opinions.
Of course. Well, from your experience, is there a project that really is your favorite, the one that really left you the better memories, one that you would single out from all the projects you've done?
There are, I mean, I specifically like the ones the youth projects. Erasmus Plus youth projects are the ones that I really like, because you actually, since we are an adult education center, we usually work with educators, trainers, etc. So that is like the first line of defense, if I can say, quote unquote. But when you are dealing directly with youth, that is very
Mhm.
rewarding, because you actually, I mean, it's a case to case basis, obviously. It's not real impact, but in my point of view, you see the impact of your project. It's not a big scale impact. It's just a person to person impact. But I truly like it. I truly like it when you see the the products that were developed for that particular target group come to life,
Mhm.
not come to life, but actually serve its their purpose.
Yeah, I see your point. Watching people actually change their lives, whatever way the project was meant to do it, I think that's rewarding. Yeah. I understand why you say that. But then that leads me to the next issue. The next question I wanted to ask you about the impact of these projects, the projects you've been running. We always have to write in the proposal what impact will that have. But that's basically for the proposal assessment and approval. Later on, after the project is done and forgotten about, haven't you noticed that somehow its impact lasted and it's still changing people's lives? Did you ever had such experience?
Well, its impact is it's tricky, isn't it? Because it's difficult to measure long-term impact in a 2-year project? How do you, in fact, how do you measure it?
Yeah.
Obviously, we always take into account sustainability. All our projects truly have a long-term sustainability plan. Um, but how do you measure that once you finish the project and you don't have an assessment or an evaluation or feedback or whatever in order to actually assess and give the numbers of if it had an impact or not, and how big or small the impact, and at what level, national, local,
Hmm.
uh, international, etc. So it's really difficult once you are writing when you are writing the proposal, it's tricky, and then once you finish the project, it's tricky also, in order to, how do you get data?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in some cases, it's kind of easy to get data due to the nature of the project itself. But in most cases, you not only you don't have data, you're not looking for it because the project is over. So you're not looking for that. Speaking of which, what about the future? What kind of projects would you like to do? What are you looking for? What are your expectations?
I truly don't know. Personal expectations. I wouldn't know what to say. There are certain topics that I do like, and I would like to continue um, researching and learning about them. As I said, I like working in the youth field. I think that the future for European projects is always the digital transition. In this current climate, war, etc., US, I would say that sustainability and things like that, green sustainability,
Mhm.
climate change actions are going to be in the back burner, and digital transition, it's going to speed ahead. But that's just my prediction. And
Mhm.
I think that if we're if we are working in the youth field, we need to train, we need to upskill this young population that are gonna deal with the challenges of the future, and it's all AI and it's all digital, and they need to be prepared.
Mhm. So you're betting everything on a digital transition, and that all obviously includes AI. Uh, what what is the role AI has in your activity nowadays?
I truly do not know how did I did my how did I work without AI. It has simplified so many things. I those bureaucratic, very repetitive tasks that took time now take 15 minutes or so. And also, once you're trying one tool, you end
Hmm.
up discovering more and more tools, and then each tool is great for, and it's good for one particular task. So I'm juggling this tool and this other tool, etc. For writing proposals and just to start from a white canvas. Excuse me, let me rephrase. In the past, before, I used to start writing projects on a white canvas, but now you have AI and you're like just analyzing, synthesizing, etc., etc. So it's much more easy to organize yourself and your thoughts, etc.
I see. Okay, so do you know? I don't know if you have any final message to end the interview, or if you want to leave any message for newcomers, for instance. What would you like to end with?
Well, I would say that this is. If you're if you want to enter this field, it's a great job. It's very creative. It has everything, I guess. It has innovation. You have to be researching a lot. You have to be learning a lot. Um, it also has the human aspect because you have to interact with other people. You meet new people from other places, other organizations, other walks of life, if I may say.
Other cultures as well.
Other cultures, for sure, European projects. And I don't know, I mean, obviously, it requires certain skills, languages. I mean, speaking English and other languages, it's definitely a must. Um, but I mean, the jargon and the way of working, you just learn with
Yeah, it's
learn
time.
by doing. You
Yeah.
learn by doing. But it's, I mean, I truly would say that if you are curious about the European projects, give it a try, and you will truly like it. I think that it opens lots of doors. I would say that would have loved having this job like maybe 6 7 years before.
I see
So
your point. Yeah.
yeah, but anyways, I guess
Okay,
that's
so
my message.
we're gonna publish your contacts, Dom Spain and Elena Chapa, in the notes of the episode, and anyone who is looking forward to build a partnership can get in touch with you. I
Thank you.
hope
Yeah.
uh, I hope to see you soon again. I want to thank you for this interview. And I don't know if it's time for vacations, but if it is, have a nice vacation.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. Bye bye.
So you're planning to apply for EU funding, but are you looking at the right call? If your project is rooted in citizen engagement, local governance, or mutual understanding across borders, this is the call you can't afford to miss. Let's break down the town twinning call, Serve 2000, 25 Citizens Town TT, and show you exactly how to win. The town twinning call is part of the Citizens, Equality, Rights and Values program. But it's not just about civic exchange, it's about shaping Europe from the ground up. The goal? To support local authorities, twinning committees, and non-profit organizations in building projects that foster solidarity, inclusion, and civic participation. Strengthen local engagement in EU democracy. Raise awareness on fundamental rights, equality, and diversity. And yes, projects involving children, cultural heritage, and democratic participation are especially encouraged. This call promotes cross-border exchanges and mutual understanding. It's all about dialogue on European values and democratic life, raising awareness of the EU Charter of Fundamental Rights, concrete actions tackling issues like gender equality, anti-racism, and domestic violence prevention. Projects should be citizen-oriented, inclusive, and forward-looking, especially appealing to younger generations. So, what should you expect if you're successful? Funded projects should generate a stronger sense of EU belonging, more citizen engagement, including children, long-term cooperation between municipalities, and of course, greater awareness and impact around core EU values. Now let's talk numbers. The total call budget is 5 million euros. Each project can receive a lump sum grant between 8,455 and 50,745 euros. The deadline, 17th of September, 2025 at 5 in the evening, Central European Time. If you win, expect your project to start around June 2026 after the grant agreement is signed. Who can actually apply? This call is open to municipalities, local authorities, or their twinning committees. Non-profit organizations representing local authorities are in too. You must be from an EU member state or a country associated with the SERV program. Consortium rules are simple. You need at least 2 municipalities from eligible countries. One must be from an EU member state. You'll need at least 50 direct participants, including 25 invited international participants. Activities have to take place inside eligible countries. No online-only events, hybrid is fine, but you need that in-person element. What kind of activities can you plan? Think workshops, seminars, festivals, exhibitions, cultural and awareness-raising events, expert meetings, and training activities. Communication tools and social media are encouraged, but every activity must be gender-sensitive and inclusive. Here's where compliance really matters. If your activities involve mining, you need a robust child protection policy. Your proposal must reflect EU values and show how you'll address gender and discrimination mainstream. No profit, no double funding, and detailed reporting is a must, especially for travel and participation records. Now, how do you actually do this? A Align your project with EU democratic values and rights. Choose partners with geographic diversity and civic experience. Focus on tangible outcomes that create lasting partnerships. And use storytelling and local relevance to connect your events to wider EU priorities. Want a step-by-step tool to assess your fit? Download the Call Alignment Checklist and the EU Project Readiness Pyramid Guide. I've dropped the links in the show notes. And remember, for full eligibility criteria, evaluation tips and templates, always check the Funding and Tenders portal. That's your map. The deadline is closer than you think. So that's your blueprint for Serve 2025 Citizens Town TT.
InnovEU, the EU Project Chronicles, is a weekly video podcast. Please subscribe to the Polixox newsletter to receive every podcast episode. And if you like receiving it, please press like in whatever platform you are watching or listening. Also, please share InnovEU and Polixox with anyone you feel will enjoy it. Credits: author and host Fernando C. Gaspar, music Hugo Gaspar, Lisbon, Portugal, 2024. Reach us by email or DM.